but the world is still very real, and the history in which Eliza is roaming around is still very real. So how do you respect the boundaries of history while also pushing and expanding those boundaries so that your characters have room to breathe and grow and live?
Well, I think that's tricky. I think, uh, you know, I know a lot of historians that just would like they would break out in hives if if they read these books, I mean, they would. They wouldn't like it. And I mean, I've had some historians kind of snub me because of what I'm doing. But I mean, I'm writing about Eliza Hamilton as an amateur sleuth. So right there is what that's like. As far as we know, Eliza never did any of that. But the rest of it, I strive to make as historically accurate as I possibly can. So that's how I kind of balance it, Um, and I've made inferences about Eliza and her life based on the stuff that we know about her. Like you mentioned her going with off to the local Native Americans and when she was a kid and being exposed to so many different people because of her father being a general. And so I try to make inferences what kind of person I think she was. And so I put her in those circumstances. Like the murder may not have really happened, and she may not have been the amateur sleuth that I'm portraying, but I try to keep the social mores and all that stuff in play. And I don't do anything that's really like against history. Like you would say that is historically inaccurate. You know, I try anyway. So it is a careful balance you have to consider when you're writing historical fiction.
Have you ever personally come across this concept in your what is historical accuracy? Given that we know that history belongs to the victors, that old uh, saying, and when you're reading, it's just a part of rhetoric that it doesn't matter how somebody wrote something down; it matters how you receive the message. That is the number one tenet
Right.
of rhetoric. So, as a historian, if you are reading old correspondence or original manuscripting from a historical figure, you are automatically changing what they did to fit your brain. So, what is historical accuracy, and who is to say that some of the leaps and expansions that you have made about society, thought processes, etc., were inaccurate?
Well, I love that. I love that statement. I think that's very true. And when I was trying to research her, I mean, it became very clear how nobody really thought she was important enough to be observing about her. Now, her husband, there's
He knew
all kinds
something.
of because of her, right? So, I really I don't like it when I'm met with the attitude of like, well, women weren't doing that back then. Women weren't doing. And somebody asked me at one of my events, "Do you think there were women who lived by themselves and made a living?" And I said, "I don't know, but it makes sense to me
It stands to
that."
reason for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then not too long after that, I was listening to this podcast which is Alfred's Alley, which is an alley in Philadelphia. It's the oldest street in the country, and there's a museum there. And they were telling stories of these three women who lived together and sewed for people. So
Is that
there,
is
there
that
you
the
go.
is that the story for Alice and her compadres?
No, this happened
No?
after.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
even
So
cooler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
I think you're right. You're absolutely right.